Have you ever felt those invisible eyes on you, even when you're seemingly alone? It's a sensation that's familiar to many of us. That prickling feeling on the back of your neck, like you're being watched. It might be in a crowded room, a deserted street, or even in the comfort of your own home. But what if I told you it's not just your imagination playing tricks on you? Our brains are incredibly complex, and one of the many marvels they possess is something called gaze detection. This is an instinctual survival mechanism that's been wired into us since the dawn of humanity. It's what helped our ancestors avoid becoming a predator's lunch, and today it helps us navigate social situations and identify potential threats. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is all well and good, but how does it fit into my daily life? Well, let's delve into a few anecdotes that might just change your perspective. Consider the story of Sarah, a woman who felt a persistent gaze on her during her daily commute. For weeks, she dismissed it as paranoia until one day she decided to confront the feeling. Turning around abruptly, she caught a man hastily looking away. Her gut feeling was right. Someone was watching her. Similarly, another tale is of a young man named David. He often felt watched in his apartment. He initially chalked it up to the eerie silence of living alone. One day, he found a hidden camera in his living room confirming his suspicions. These stories aren't meant to alarm you, but rather to illustrate how our instincts can often be more accurate than we give them credit for. Remember, your brain is a powerful tool. Trust in its abilities. So whether it's a lingering stare in a crowded subway or an unsettling feeling in an empty room, your brain is constantly analyzing your surroundings, alerting you to unseen stares. So, what signs can you look out for to know if someone is secretly watching you? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the art of noticing in the next scene. Paying attention to the subtlest details can make all the difference. Yes, my friends, it's an art, the art of noticing, a skill that can reveal a lot more than meets the eye. Let's delve into the world of body language. You see, our bodies often spill the beans, even when our lips are sealed. A quick glance, a fleeting look, or even the slightest shift in posture can speak volumes about someone's interest in you. Sherlock Holmes, the master of observation, once said, "The world is full of obvious things which nobody by any chance ever observes." So observe, my friends, because the obvious is often the most overlooked. Let's talk about eye contact. Now, we all know that the eyes are the windows to the soul. But did you know they're also the mirrors reflecting someone's interest in you? A lingering look, a quick darting glance, or even an eye that seems to follow you around the room. These are all signs someone might be secretly watching you. But let's not forget about other non-verbal cues. These can be as subtle as a change in breathing pattern, a sudden nervous twitch, or even a noticeable change in voice pitch. Remember, it's all in the details. Now let me share a little story. There was this guy, let's call him John. He noticed that every time he entered the room, a certain someone would straighten up. Their eyes would light up and a nervous energy would take over them. It took a while, but John eventually figured it out. He was being watched, secretly admired, all because he paid attention to the subtle changes in body language, eye contact, and other nonverbal cues. So, let's take a page out of Sherlock's book and start observing. As he said, "It has long been an axiom of mine that the little things are infinitely the most important." But what if you can't see the person? There's a way to figure that out too. They say walls have ears, but could they possibly have eyes too? It's an intriguing question, isn't it? Now, we're not implying that your walls have sprouted ocular organs overnight, but in the modern age, the concept of hidden cameras is not just a figment of Orwellian fiction. Let's take a stroll down memory lane. Remember the cinematic masterpiece, The Conversation? Gene Hackman's character was a surveillance expert. And he said, "We know that you're innocent. Just because you know something doesn't mean you're guilty." It's an interesting perspective on surveillance, one that highlights the thin line between privacy and paranoia. Now let's bring it back to reality. There are numerous documented incidents where hidden cameras have been discovered, sometimes in the most unexpected places. Who could forget the shock that swept across the globe when a South Korean woman discovered a hidden camera in her hotel room? Or when unsuspecting Airbnb guests found cameras tucked away in smoke detectors. These incidents are unsettling reminders that we're not always alone when we think we are. So how can you spot these invisible observers? Firstly, trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Look out for tiny holes or unusual objects in your surroundings. Check for irregular Wi-Fi signals. Hidden cameras often connect to a network to transmit their footage. Remember, as Will Smith's character, Robert Dean, in the movie Enemy of the State said, privacy has become an illusion. But that doesn't mean we should surrender to the invisible observer. It's about staying vigilant, maintaining our privacy, and, most importantly, being aware. In the words of Alfred Hitchcock, a master of suspense and surveillance in his films, there is no terror in the bang, only in the anticipation of it. The same can be said about the invisible observer. The fear isn't just in being watched, but in the uncertainty of it. Now that you know how to spot the watcher, how about understanding why they do it? Because after all, every observer has a motive, and that's what we'll delve into next. Ever wondered what could possibly drive someone to secretly watch another person? A question that has plagued many, and today we'll be diving into the deep end of the pool to find some answers. The crux of this curiosity lies in the human psyche, a labyrinth of thoughts, emotions, and motives. Now, secret watching could stem from a variety of reasons, but let's focus on the most common ones: attraction, obsession, curiosity, and at times malicious intent. Let's start with attraction. It's as old as time itself, the fluttering heart, the stolen glances. It's a tale as old as time. However, it's important to remember that these glances should never invade personal boundaries or make the other person uncomfortable. Next, we have obsession. Now, this is where things start to get a little dicey. Obsession is when attraction takes a wrong turn. It becomes an unhealthy fixation, transforming the innocent act of admiration into a relentless pursuit. It's like that line from the classic film, The Great Gatsby, where Gatsby says, "I can't help what's past. I did love her once, but I loved her too much." Then we have curiosity, the age-old human trait that led us to discover fire, invent the wheel, and yes, occasionally to secretly watch others. Curiosity is often innocent, but when it crosses the line into voyeurism, it becomes a breach of privacy. And finally, we come to malicious intent. This is the dark underbelly of secret watching, where the watcher has harmful intentions towards the watched. It's a chilling thought, but one we can't ignore in our journey of understanding the unseen gaze. Remember that quote from Sherlock Holmes? "The world is full of obvious things which nobody by any chance ever observes." Well, now you know why. Now that we've uncovered the secrets of the unseen gaze, what can you do about it? Stay tuned as we delve into the next scene, react and respond. Knowledge is power, but what good is power if not put to use? So, you've noticed that someone is secretly watching you. Now what? Well, there are several ways to react and respond, and the course of action you take can depend on the situation and who the watcher is. Let's start with a story. Picture Jane, a regular at her local coffee shop. She noticed a fellow patron always seemed to be there when she was, always glancing her way. Jane decided to confront the person. She approached him, not with hostility, but with a friendly, "I've noticed you here a lot. Do we know each other?" In Jane's case, it turned out they went to the same school and he'd been trying to place her. A confrontation doesn't always have to be aggressive. Sometimes it can be a conversation starter. Now let's take a different scenario. John, who lived alone, started noticing someone lurking near his home late at night. Unlike Jane's situation, John felt threatened. He chose to contact local law enforcement and installed a home security system. John's case illustrates that when personal safety is at stake, it's crucial to involve professionals. Remember the words of a wise detective from a popular TV show, "Always trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't." And in the words of the famous superhero Spider-Man, "With great power comes great responsibility." In this case, the power is your knowledge and the responsibility is to act upon it. Ensuring personal safety is paramount. Whether it's confronting the person, seeking help from others, or involving law enforcement, the key is to trust your instincts and react accordingly. So what can we learn from these stories? Each situation is unique, and your reaction should be tailored to fit the circumstances. The important thing is not to ignore your feelings or dismiss them as paranoia. Your intuition is a powerful tool. Use it. Remember, it's not just about knowing, it's about taking action. So the next time you feel those invisible eyes on you, you know exactly what to do.